Mamdani elected mayor of New York City on winning night for Democrats. Democratic Socialist, 34 years of age, becomes city's first Muslim mayor as Democrats triumph in several other key races. Welcome to the Ugandan Stance. Democratic nominee Zohran Mamdani was elected on Tuesday as the 111th mayor of New York City, defeating the former governor Andrew Cuomo and Republican candidate Curtis Sliwa, and making history as the first city's Muslim mayor. The 34-year-old Democratic Socialist and State Assembly member from Queens secured victory with more than 50% of the vote. Cuomo, 67, finished second with just over 40% of the vote, while Republican candidate Curtis Sliwa received just over 7% of the vote. Mamdani's historic victory was announced amid a slew of Democratic wins across the country, with Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger becoming Virginia's first female governor, Mickey Sherrill defeating her Trump-backed gubernatorial opponent in New Jersey, and California voting for Gavin Newsom's push for redistricting maps that would yield 5 new congressional seats for the party. The crowd at Mamdani's election night party at the Brooklyn Paramount in downtown Brooklyn erupted after the Associated Press called the race in his favor. People cheered and hugged each other at the news. In addition to being New York's first Muslim mayor, Mamdani is also the first South Asian mayor and the youngest mayor in more than a century. The current mayor, Eric Adams, who had campaigned for a second term as an independent, dropped out of the race in September. When Mamdani launched his campaign for mayor last fall, he was a relatively unknown state lawmaker, but his message centered on affordability along with buoyant Jones throughout New York City quickly gained traction and resonated with thousands of New Yorkers. His platform called for freezing rents on rent-stabilized units, building more affordable housing, raising the minimum wage to $30 an hour, making buses free, increasing taxes on the city's wealthiest residents, and more. Fueled by small dollar donations, tens of thousands of volunteers, a survey, social media presence, and a message of change, Mamdani's grassroots campaign built momentum through the spring. That energy culminated in a decisive win in the June Democratic primary, in which he defeated Cuomo by nearly 13 points, stunning the city's political establishment by galvanizing a diverse coalition that included many young and first-time voters. After his primary defeat, Cuomo, who resigned as governor of New York in 2021, after more than a dozen women accused him of sexual harassment allegations, which he had denied, chose to stay in the race and launched an independent campaign against Mamdani, seeking to pull off a political comeback. But polls throughout the summer and fall consistently showed Mamdani maintaining a comfortable lead over Cuomo and Sliwa and Adams before he exited the race. In recent months, Mamdani and Cuomo have frequently sparred over their records, qualifications, and ideas to improve the city. Mamdani has accused Cuomo of being beholden to wealthy donors and of serving corporate interests, while Cuomo has dismissed Mamdani as too inexperienced to lead the city. During the October mayoral debates, Mamdani, Cuomo, and Sliwa traded jabs and clashed over a variety of local, national, and global issues, including crime, policing, Israel, affordability, housing, and transportation, as well as who would best navigate relations with Trump administration. Mamdani's campaign has drawn support from progressives on the national stage, including endorsements from Ben Sanders, the Vermont senator, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the new New York representative, both of whom have appeared with him at rallies across the city. Other prominent New York leaders who have backed Mamdani include the Representative Jerry Nelder and the New York State Attorney General Letitia James. In September, the New York governor, Kathy Hochul, announced she was endorsing Mamdani despite previously expressing policy differences. And most recently, less than 2 weeks before Election Day, the U.S. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries followed suit, ending months of pressure and questions over his reluctancy to support this or his party's candidate. Still, not all New York Democrats got behind him. Both New York Senators Chuck Schumer and Christian Gillibrand notably did not make endorsements in the race. Throughout the campaign, Mamdani faced attacks and scrutiny from critics about his age, experience, and progressive agenda. He came under fire from some, including Cuomo, for his criticism of the Israel government, Israel's military actions in Gaza, and his support for Palestinian rights, all of which have complicated his relationship with some Jewish groups. So, congratulations to Mamdani. He becomes the youngest of all in 111 years, and he's now the newly elected mayor of New York. And obviously, he has roots from Kampala, Uganda. That's why you're running the story. And the next story is all about Bobi Wine congratulating him for really winning this mayoral race. And Mamdani has always gone ahead, obviously coming through and support Bobi Wine through thick and thin on what he's really going in through in his country as he fights to really become the president of the nation known as Uganda. Now, lastly, Mamdani faced a barrage of Islamophobic attacks across social media and conservative political circles, including from Elise Stefanik, a Republican New York representative and Trump ally, who has condemned Mamdani as a jihadist candidate for the mayor. In October, Mamdani denounced Cuomo for laughing along with the conservative radio host who said Mamdani would be cheering if another 9/11 happened, referring to the 2001 terrorist attacks on the New York City by Islamic extremists. Mamdani called the exchange disgusting and racist. So, some people are really extremists when it comes to certain things, and he's indeed a racist. How could someone who has really been in America and really competing for a top seat in America do the needful and really be excited for another 9/11? Earlier in the campaign, Mamdani also accused a super PAC supporting Cuomo of blatant Islamophobia after a proposed flyer featured an image of Mamdani that appeared manipulated to make his beard look darker, longer, and thicker. The race attracted national attention, with politicians and pundits across the spectrum weighing in. Even Donald Trump entered the fray, calling Mamdani a radical and a communist. Oh my God. So that means Mamdani has also gone ahead to beat Trump hands down. And I really understand why Trump was in this, because as New York, one of the biggest cities and busiest cities in US, you want a Republican to win it, but it has obviously gone to the Democrat. On Monday, on the eve of the election, Trump endorsed Cuomo for mayor and said that if Mamdani were to win, it would be highly unlikely that the city would receive federal funds other than the very minimum as required. Whether you personally like Andrew Cuomo or not, you really have no choice, Trump wrote in a post on Truth Social on Monday evening. You must vote for him and hope he does a fantastic job. He is capable of it, Mamdani is not. Billionaire Elon Musk also urged New Yorkers to vote for Cuomo on Monday. Born in Uganda to Indian parents, Mamdani moved to New York City with his family at the age of 7 and became a U.S. citizen in 2018. In July, Trump raised the possibility of revoking Mamdani's citizenship, a threat that Mamdani denounced as not just an attack on our democracy, but an attempt to send a message to every New Yorker who refuses to hide in the shadows. If you speak up, they will come for you. Despite the attacks, Mamdani's campaign had ripple effects nationwide. In August, The Guardian reported that his campaign inspired more than 10,000 progressives across the country to consider running for office. Shortly after the race was called in favor, Mamdani posted on X a video of the subway doors opening with the conductor saying, over the loudspeaker. The next and last stop is City Hall. That is it. So have a very great evening.